think someone walked on water? Do you believe in the literal translation? Are you an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy? Well, the New Testament. No, well, the New Testament was made by Constantine.
I just love the way they love the Bible, and it's the greatest book, and they swear on it, but it has these things that are like comically stupid and corrupt. I mean, God is so corrupt.
Because I discovered Darwinism, I recognized that there was no good reason to believe in any kind of supernatural creator and no creationist lunacy.
Is that God is the God of all truth. I believe the exact opposite. God, far from being a delusion, is real, but we need to discuss it seriously and look at the evidence.
I think there is overwhelming evidence for intelligent design in nature.
I see intelligent design in the history of life.
In the genetic code of life.
In the molecular machines inside our cells.
In the complexity of life.
In the information embedded in living things.
In the operation of the human brain.
In the features of the human body.
In the chicken and egg causal circularity of life.
As a mathematician, I see great evidence of purpose in the universe.
As a molecular biologist, I see evidence for design everywhere I look, pretty much.
Nature is incomprehensible without inference to purpose and to intelligent design.
In fact, a lot of people say, well, the reason why you don't have many viewers, Jim, is that you're not focused on one thing, like photography, which I do and love, videography, which I do and love, writing, which I do and love, construction, every aspect of it, from concrete work, foundations, roofing, framing, finish work, plumbing, electrical, design, and all of it. And travel, we do travel. We have a little RV. It's just a little bit about us before I get into this video, which I see is probably upside down now by the looks of those lenses. So, just a little intro into what we do and why. If you take a look at the 105 videos we do, everything's in there. The photography, the videography, the gardening we love, landscaping, construction, foundation work, travel, the beauty that we go out and see in national parks and everywhere we go, and the beauty we see in the people we meet. So I'm not going to worry about viewers and all this stuff. I've done a lot of things that I don't think that are right. Boy, and I got some flack for that. I don't think it's right for elderly women to be living alone in a van in the middle of the desert. There's something just not right with that. And the fact that some people say that's freedom, and that if it's freedom, I don't think it's freedom, because freedom is the right to choose no matter what your circumstance. And most of the people you see living in vehicles in the middle of the desert or on the street, it's not a choice. That's all they have. So anyway, I have opinions too, and sometimes I get nailed for them. But today, I wanted to do a series on why I believe in God and some of my moral beliefs and work ethics and just everything. And this particular set of episodes, why I believe in God, is associated with the fact that I found myself homeless as a single parent with 2 young boys. And I never got the book on how to raise children at all. And I did a miserable job of it. I mean, they're good now. They've come out good. They have good jobs, very talented. One's a musician, one's an engineer. So I can't complain about that, but I could have done a much better job, especially on the faith side of things. because I always had faith, but there was a period through those dark years. I grew up, I was in the Navy during the 60s, the peace, love, dope, sex, drugs, and rock and roll time. And there was a big gap where God and I were strangers. So I've tried to have discussions with our sons, and they're pretty gun shy of talking about God and why I believe and the evidence, because I don't have a blind faith. I've had faith since I was a 5-year-old boy, and I'll talk about that in this video. But when I bring it up, I say, look, I can put together the reason why I think my faith is evidence-based in letters, or in this case, videos, and I'm hoping that they will watch these videos someday and at least look at the evidence I'm going to produce. The evidence that you're going to see in this episodes, which I gave a trailer to, and there'll probably be a link to them at the end or down below, to the trailer about, a masculine Christian man. And this whole evidence of faith and doing everything you can do as if for the Lord. And that's what I'm doing in this video, trying to get improve my skills in video. So, in these videos, the evidence-based piece will cover the Bible and eschatology, which is prophecies that have been proven and actually happened accurately in the Bible, and the ways of the evidence that the Bible is the Word of God, God breathed. It will cover, and I'm not a theologian. All of these things will come from a country boy, small town, North Dakota boy, man, I guess, old man now. But so I'm not super skilled in these areas, but I thought I could cover the areas like eschatology and put it in a layman's point of view. The accuracy of the Bible and the rationale for it, and put it in a layman's point of view. The scientific reasons, everything from biology to cosmology, and everything in between, mathematics, chemistry, physics, etc. And I'm not an archaeologist, but I'll point out, especially lately, they're finding all kinds of things, archaeological finds, to prove what's in the Bible and the accuracy of what took place. One of the things that stood out to me was, I mentioned the Bible once to one of our sons, the oldest one, and he said, "Dad, the Bible was written by Constantine." And I thought, what gave you that idea? And then I heard it from some other people, and most lately, I think it was Joe Rogan said the same thing. It was written by Constantine. Well, I tried to respond to that by saying, well, what gave you that idea? And tried to move ahead and say that, have you ever heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls, for instance, where the book of Isaiah, the complete book of Isaiah, was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I could be wrong, but are dated like centuries before Christ. And they're in the Bible. So it's kind of hard for Constantine, centuries later, after Christ's crucifixion and resurrection to write the Bible. And most of the Bible was written, a lot of the Bible was written by eyewitness accounts, and I'll cover that. So in this first video, and I'm not sure because this discussion may take a little time, what I'm doing right now. Maybe it'll be a video unto itself, because I've learned that people on YouTube don't look at videos for very long. But if it touches the heart of one person and will plant a seed to say, oh, I never knew that, let me go check that out. Because I'm going to have individual episodes about and cover some of these very smart people, like John Lennox, mathematician from Oxford, Behe, biology, and Stephen Meyer, Hugh Ross, a cosmologist, scientists across the globe, and the reason why they believe in God, and like the chemist James Tour from Rice University. These are brilliant people. And so one can't just say, oh, the Bible is just a bunch of bahooey. It's not. I mean, if people that smart can see that a lot of these scientists call it intelligent design. I just cut through the chase and say God did it. Things like the origin of life. That whole area is just incredible. James Tour, a chemist, like I said, out of Rice University, has said a lot of people, naturalists, Darwinists, they think that all of this happened from some primordial ooze, and a lightning bolt struck it, and it sparked life. And then the life changed and evolved, and Darwin, and it grew into all the creatures. From a farm boy, North Dakota boy, that does not make sense. It just doesn't pass the common sense test. It just doesn't make sense. But there's so much evidence, scientific history, archaeology, all the sciences, the Bible, and testing it. So when I came out of the darkness that I was in, I decided to find out about God, and this whole thing about knock, seek, and find. So I started knocking, seeking, and going through this, just like getting the evidence as if I was going to present it in a court of law. There's actually a book like that. It's Case for Christ by Lee Strobel, and Case for Creation. Because a lot of these people, scientists, writers, investigative journalists, were atheists until they started to really get into the proof. I also have read, and it's hard for me to do, but read and watched videos on the atheist point of view, like the Richard Dawkins and the Hutchinsons and those people that they think it's just silly. The Bible's silly. The whole idea of God is silly. So I wanted to get a feel for where they're coming from and use that too, and I'll plug that in. So these upcoming episodes, I started this first one and said, well, first I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So here I am in the garage, like I usually am. So, a little bit about me. I was raised in the faith. Mother's family was Lutheran. fathers was staunch Catholics, so I'm a Catholic Lutheran, Lutheran. And I saw holes in that religion, both of them. You know, when people say, well, that religion, yeah, and I agree with them. You know, the bureaucratic churches do drive many people away from God. So I get that, and I've experienced both sides of it. In fact, I went to a Catholic parochial school, and they expelled me for asking too many questions. Like the main one was, where's that in the Bible? So they threw me out. And that kind of led me down that dark path that I went on for a while. So, you know, I hope you'd join me, talk about it. Some of these, why I believe in God, and the fact that my faith is evidence-based faith, not blind faith, because I've investigated all the pieces, but I'm not an expert in any of those areas, including theology. But I've learned a lot, and over the years I'll probably learn a lot more. But this was, like I said, this set of videos is targeted to our sons, because I did a piss poor job of teaching them in the way. So I don't care about likes or dislikes. I'm not going to erase any comments. Even if they're bad, I hope to enter into some discussion with those that think the Bible is bahooey and it's ridiculous to think of God. But hopefully you'll watch the series, and if this turns out to be a video unto itself, this time in the garage, and a little discussion and background about me, that that's okay too, because I think I was editing one of them, this first one, talking about my first experience hearing God, and that was when I was 5 years old at my father's funeral. That got to be, it's getting long. I'm going to try to figure out a way to keep these down. But remember, it's all from a layman's point of view, from the heart, towards our sons. And it's my prayer that God will bless it and my sons will see it and change their lives or think about God in a new light. And maybe, because I'm going to put it out on YouTube, if it touches even one person to go, yeah, I think that, I want to check that out. That makes sense. I've never heard it from a farm boy or a country boy. I'm not really a farm boy, although I spent a lot of time on the farm. So, and I'm going to do other videos later, but this is a series, Why I Believe in God. So I hope you watch it, because there's so many pieces to cover, from golden ratios and mathematics to chemistry and biology and gut feeling, or spirit-filled feelings, I should say. So join me. And I hope you enjoy them. Thank you for watching. And hopefully to the end.